Hello everyone, Lego is here with a small project following the monstrously big one from last time. This was a small, fun little one to do. It's been on my list forever, and it has to do with Darkifaerie, specifically the amount of detail there is in each letter. And I always thought you could do something with that. Not quite calligraphic, I've done that before, but more like, I don't know. In my head, I had a vision of like italic Darkifaerie, if that makes sense. When you think of a font and it's in italics, it's a little bit more fancy. And I have been wanting to do a demo project, proof of concept thing for that forever. So I just decided to do this now. I have a particular phrase in mind. It's in the title of the video, no secret about it. It is inspired by a song of the same title. And what I'm doing here is first of all, I'm just creating the words from scratch using the reference on the right side. Every time I do Darkifaerie, I do the letters from the ground up, even though you could argue that, I should just sit down and do it once. And then I always have that reference table and I can just copy paste. I don't know. I feel like so far it's been working out pretty well to just do them from scratch every time. And then each batch of Darkifaerie has some certain characteristics that they share. So I'm actually feeling pretty good about that. Even though, yes, I maybe should just sit down and actually do a like a schematic or a template of the whole thing, so I just have it on hand. Maybe one day, but for now I don't need all the letters. I just need a couple of them, and I am still just making it up here. So right now it is in the just the raw letter phase. So they have the same orientation, the same proportions, the same everything as the intended guide says. And then now moving on to the actual words, I've never really quite defined how I believe those are supposed to be read. I've always used them in a linear fashion or in a, well, circular fashion, basically. But that was just a one-time thing. Most of the time, it's linear fashion, and that's not quite what the intention. That's not quite the intention of the actual creator. From the very little we know of it, it is actually meant to be spiralized. So reading outside in a spiral, and kind of like spiral spinner in a way. And this is my attempt to sort of give it a little nod of appreciation on that. I'm not totally doing a spiral thing here. I am just spiraling each word from largest to smallest, which is, sort of in the same alleyway as that. So having done that and having found a composition that I do like, still overall linear from left to right, because that is just it just felt right. I am now doing some alterations to some of the thicknesses, adding some extra detail and making it appear not as flat. This is totally optional in Darkifaerie. There's no thickness hierarchy. It's like what you see is what you get, right? So you can rotate it. You can, I suppose, even flip the letters, mirror them, do anything you want with them, because each characteristic is so unique. You can't mistake one letter for another. So you're free to do pretty much whatever you do. And one of the things I tend to do with Darkifaerie is, because of this property, I do like to overlap them quite a bit, because you can still make out which characteristic belong to which letter. And if you can't, then you use thicknesses to distinguish them. Make sure you can see the actual the characteristics of the letter and clearly see where they belong to. So I'm not afraid of doing some overlap here. Having done that, I am now doing what I set out to do here, making it a little bit fancier, trying to see what happens when I do this. It's a proof of concept. If it's a trial, I'll see what happens. So what I'm doing is I'm extending almost all the lines beyond their own letters. to give it more of a swirl or a like some extra. I don't even know the word for it in English, but you give them a little extra. So like a signature. When you do a signature, you might do some extra fancy pen strokes and stuff. So this is sort of my attempt to imitate that same behavior, and it of course wouldn't be right without doing some power strokes on those. So you really get that swoop and that I like words. It's good. It looks good, and I'm doing that. Um, and already I'm really pretty happy with this. I don't really had a plan beyond this. I thought maybe at one point I wanted to do a color version, but then I didn't really feel inspired to do a color version, which is not typically what I do. Usually I do color work, but didn't really feel right for this. It's not a long project, and I didn't want it to be long and complicated. I suppose you could take this and make it into a gradient color of some sort, and then do a background, and then. But I don't really feel like it adds anything to this particular project, so I just ended up not doing that. Now, I do believe I'm almost done with the calligraphic and stuff. There's a little bit of a small issue there with one of the power strokes. I didn't like being moved, but I fixed that sort of. It has to do with nodes and the properties of the fill once you turn it into a power stroke. But boring details aside, I did want to try and see how it would look if I did some distress in the background, and I wanted some distress in the form of bricks, like a road, like brickwork, like a cobblestone, stuff like that. So that's the reason for that particular texture. And you can see I've sort of laid them out here as the basic version at the top linear, then added the, for lack of a better word, calligraphic details, and then now we have some of the grid there in the background. I just faded it inside the text, so it's not obscuring what's actually going on. I still want it to be easily readable. It's meant to add detail, not make it harder to read. And yeah, I mean, for an hour's worth of work, that's I say that's pretty nice, and do some relaxing a little bit. I don't really have any more to say here. It's a nice piece of Darkifaerie, and I will probably see you another time. Bye.